All right, on this beautiful day, I'm gonna talk about ego, something that everyone got to deal with, something that sometimes we don't even realize that we're dealing with it, right? It is, ego is how the observer interfaces with this reality, right? It runs us, especially when we're not being conscious about anything. Um, it is just imagine how you've been living your life, what inner identity you've been living your life as. That identity is going to actually probably run your ego, or that ego is going to be in line with that identity at all times. And the ego is tricky. So the ego can convince you that you are functioning from your divine being, but still ask you for whys and hows, right? If you're functioning from the divine being, whys and hows are irrelevant because it's done, because you said it's done, because you are functioning from that creator, all powerful identity, right? That we all have within us. Now, many times, especially if if you go into different um uh if you go into like spirituality and stuff, your ego will start using semantics and vernacular from spiritual, divine, and that kind of stuff in order to sway you and convince you that that it knows better. um It'll convince you to look for results, right? If you're divine and you give yourself everything, you don't need results, right? You have it. You don't need the 3D to show you what you have, right? Because you know you have it. It's a knowing. So it's really interesting because, again, I'm not gonna say kill your ego, because I think ego is the way we interface with this reality. I would say, as the observer, be aware of when the ego is in play, because if you're all that is, right, you're everything. Ego, observer, the subconscious mind. We're our vessel as well. We're everything. We're consciousness. We're knowing, right? We're the awareness. So be aware. Be aware of what's going on. Be aware of what identity is coming from. Like why is the why so important? Why is the how so important? Right? You're if you give yourself everything, you have everything. The why and the how is not important, and at that point, you're just experiencing it as best as you say it is, right? So, as long as your perception is in line with your divine desire, we'll call it, but it's desired, but we already have it, so it doesn't matter because you already have it. So it's not like a wanting or needing, or how is this going to happen, or when is this going to happen, or anything like that. It is more so, I've given it to myself, and I'm content, and I have it, right? And once you're in that knowing of you have it, your reality will move accordingly. People you don't know, people you haven't interfaced with, the whole world is working in your favor, right? This universe needs validation from you. This universe aims to please you. So just know that that is the truth. Know that you are the center of your universe. Know that the ego will try to play tricks on you. We'll be asking for the how. We'll be asking for the why. We'll be asking for the when. We'll be asking for results. You have to tell yourself, whatever you decide on, whether it's changing a behavior, changing how you show up, attaining a better job, making your relationship better, etc., etc. You decide it. You always decide it. It doesn't matter what the world says, right? The world is always going to do what the world does, right? So you have to, from your divine consciousness, dictate to the world how it is. Okay? So ego, not necessarily a bad thing, because ego is how we, let me kind of stand in the sun. ego is how we've stayed alive so long, right? It is the identity or the pattern that we've been functioning as for the longest time. And depending on how old you are, it is a lot more difficult to break, and it will fight you way harder, and it will hijack your divine powers. It will hijack your divinity. It will hijack your imagination, and it would help you manifest negative, so you stay in the same identity and not move forward from it, not step into your divine creation power, right? Not be conscious and not be able to use it the way you want to, because again, the ego wants to stay alive. The ego has been alive for the longest time. The ego of the current identity that you've been functioning as for the longest time will do everything it can to keep you in your same space. It will keep you finding the worst in things. It would keep you looking at the negative of everything. It would keep you talking negatively about yourself, negative thoughts, bad actions, asking why, when, how, even though you as a divine entity know that it's done, so you don't need to ask for the why and the how or anything like that, because it is done because you say it's done. Now, mind you, like I've said in other videos, you decide what experience you want. So if you don't want to have, like, if you don't want to wield the powers of creation consciously, then live life how you want, right? Pick how you want to live life and then do it. That's all you got to do. Exactly all you got to do, because your universe is yours. There's echoes of you in other people's universes, and there's echoes of other people in your universe. But in totality, the universe is a reflection of you. The universe is a perfect mirror of your internal world. So act accordingly to that. I would say it's very empowering. Some people, if you want to stay a victim, stay a victim. But I think if everything comes from you, then nothing outside of you will harm you unless you give it power, right? So act accordingly. Although it's very interesting, because you see people talking about, avoid stuff that triggers you, stay away from stuff that triggers you. If something triggers you, like, just let it go. But the trigger is your divine self kind of bringing it into your awareness, right? Because nothing should trigger you, realistically. Unless you choose to be triggered by it, nothing should trigger you. So again, that whole avoid anything that triggers you is 100% the ego keeping itself intact. That is the ego functioning. That is people that are like, we're spiritual, whatever. You don't avoid stuff, because everything is you. So you can't avoid yourself. So if you turn it, you can't lie to yourself either. So if you avoid it, next time it comes up at somewhere, you're gonna get triggered again, and it's not gonna be worked on. Because again, the triggers are you. You trigger yourself. The emotional reactions you have are self-imposed limitations down the road, right? So if you feel sad and you emotionally think that you're not worthy, now you've downloaded this persona or this identity that feels unworthy, and that's gonna spill into your reality. If you think you're not good enough, if you think, no one's gonna love you, this all spills into your reality, right? So again, decide what you want to live, how you want to live it. You're a creator. Just do it. It's not. And again, if you're worried about the how, the why, the when, this is all the ego. It's like, affirm and get money in 24 hours. This is all ego, because there's no time with the divine, right? Everything's the same to the infinite. Time is vertical, so the past, present, future is happening all at once. It's already happened. It's created, right? And you're just going in and out between different realities, different timelines. So again, just be aware, Be aware when you're functioning from the ego. Don't let the ego trick you, okay? So if you're trying to change, understand that when you're trying to change, your old identity or your ego will try to tell you that, oh, you can't change, or oh, that's not, it's, we've always seen it like this, you can't make a change because this is just how life is, right? Don't listen to the ego, all right? The ego is not you. You are the observer. You are the one that observes the emotions, that observes the thoughts, that observes the ego, and then decides how to take action and decides what to do. And guess what? You are always correct because you are always creating your own world. So you can never be wrong. You're always winning. Even if you have negative experiences, you're always winning because you are creating the set experiences that you're having. Because you are all that is. And you create from the God power that you have from you. So everything in life is a mirror. Anything that triggers you is something you have to work on. So figure it out, work on it, because otherwise there is no growth. So yeah, careful with the ego. The ego tries to trick you sometimes, but everyone have a beautiful day. It's the best day ever. And if not, make it so. So God bless, all love, peace.